किसी को बोल दिया हेल्प करेंगे, किसी को बोल दिया ऑफ कोर्स यू नीड माय हेल्प, मैं तुम्हारे लिए भी आ जाऊंगी. You're not investing in yourself. You're losing your sanity. You don't have time with your kid. Well, it's just like I was done.
76% of women feel responsible even when they're not there.
You can't compartmentalize your brain.
Absolutely.
कि अब मैं stress नहीं होंगी. Your brain can never do it.
For you, after you got married and you had children, was there an expectation like there is for many people that, okay, the husband works and the wife looks after the children?
What's that saying? Behind every successful man, there's a woman.
There's a tired woman.
And there's a
an
tired
exhausted woman.
But I feel behind every working woman, there's usually a man who's holding fort, and that is your partner.
When men talk to me, we hate it when our women are trying to micromanage everything.
Would he say that you try and micromanage him?
Because he is very relaxed as a person. I want to be younger. But when I see my husband take 15-minute cat naps in the afternoon, I'm like, I want this.
That's the goal.
When you're at work, you're worrying about kids. When you're with your kids, you're saying, oh my God, I was supposed to send this email. Problem is that you're not there completely.
Balance is a luxury. It needs to reach the women. Train में है, वहाँ पे सब्जियाँ भी काट रहे हैं. हम 8-hour work shifts भी मान सकते हैं. This has to go much, much, much deeper. So I don't have that balance even now.
Is that biology? Is that
Social
society?
conditioning.
It's society, yeah.
So लोग क्या कहेंगे?
Your family itself. Oh, you're a mother, you should be at home.
The most successful people perhaps achieve a level of success by sacrificing something in their personal lives to get ahead. So is that true?
There is mom guilt. I am anxious. What did you start? You started by saying no, then you're the one who needs help. And I'm fine with that. I'm fully aware. But my problem with coming and seeking help is I don't have time right now. I can't fit it in.
There are moments every working woman will remember clearly. That late night email, the missed parent-teacher meeting, that pang of guilt after choosing a shoot over bedtime. I have had them all. And honestly, I have spent many sleepless nights wondering, am I a good mother? Am I a committed professional? Or am I just stretched too thin between both? You know, research says that nearly 78% of working women in India report stress due to trying to balance home and work. And guess what? Over 45% of working mothers actually consider quitting their jobs after they become mothers. Not because they don't love their careers, but because they're told that they cannot have it all. So today, we're going to unpack this. Why the conversation about work-life balance is always louder when it comes to women, and how much of this pressure is biological, how much is medical, and how much is societal. Log kya kahenge? Hello and welcome to All About Her, a space where we have honest and meaningful conversations about women's health, their wellness, their happiness, and their self-care. And today's episode is dedicated to a challenge most women live through every single day. The struggle to strike that balance between career, home, relationships, and themselves. It's called work-life balance, and it is far more complicated than it sounds. We have two incredible guests with us today. First up is someone who seamlessly juggles multiple roles, or seems like she does. Actor, producer, podcast host, entrepreneur, and above all, a hands-on mother of two, and my very good friend. I added that. It wasn't there. My very good friend. She's never shied away from showing us the real, unfiltered side of managing a career and a family. Through her honesty and hustle, she has become a voice for countless women trying to find their own balance. So please join me in welcoming the dynamic and inspiring Neha Dhupia.
Oh my God.
I know.
Who would have thought you'll say so many nice things about
We
me?
use the same introduction, we just add the name of the person sitting in the chair.
And everyone is your friend.
Everyone's met your friend.
That's why they asked you. No, I think they become dear friends after. But yeah, thanks for it. Well done. Firstly, I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
I mean, this is incredible, but
Thank you.
it's all about her.
Thank you.
Hers.
It's all about us. Joining Neha today is a woman who has spent over 2 decades helping people heal, cope, and reclaim balance in their lives. As one of India's most respected psychiatrists, she brings a medical lens to something that we often treat as just an emotional issue. She is the founder of Mind Temple, and she has guided countless women, working professionals, mothers, caregivers, through burnout, through anxiety, and through the relentless pressures of modern life. We're truly honored to have Dr. Anjali Chhabria with us. So thank you both.
Thank you.
Thank
Hi,
you so
Doc.
much.
Hello.
Neha, very nice to see you.
Pleased to meet both of you.
I'm very happy to have you both here, and I think that it's ironic that we are discussing an issue like work-life balance, and I know that both of you have really juggled your days around and achieved some kind of imbalance to make it here today. You, I know, in front of me, cancelled a paddle session. You showed me, see, I've cancelled paddle to be here today. Very appreciative. I know you're heading straight there after this. I'm sure that you have also readjusted your day massively and shifted some appointments around. And I just think that it is to achieve like a 90-minute conversation or to speak here today, we do have to make changes in our day. And I think that that is what is perhaps why we're here, to talk about this thing called balance, which I think is perhaps more elusive than it seems. And I wanted to start with you, Neha, just to say, what does the word balance mean to you in this context? And has that definition changed over time?
You know, so I'm going to take the second half of your question first. Has the definition changed? Yeah, because पहले तो जब हम करते थे काम उस टाइम बैलेंस लगता नहीं था. नए शहर में आए हैं, काम करने आए हैं, हमको अगर स्टाइलिस्ट बोल रहा है फिटिंग 9 बजे है, प्रोड्यूसर का फोन 8:30 बजे आया, तो ऐसे लगता है काम ही तो करने आए हैं, तो बैलेंस तो है ही नहीं. सो वी वुड कीप वर्किंग ऑल द टाइम. I feel now, firstly, the conversation is so important. I feel like this conversation hasn't come up with women like us, but it's also started by the younger generation. The new moms who are in their 20s and 30s, and not just them, even working women. Because, I mean, I have to marvel the next generation because they know their boundaries. They know where they have to stop. 6 बजे ऑफिस कॉर्पोरेट सेटअप में निकल जाएंगे, ठीक है, सैटरडे संडे हम फोन नहीं उठाएंगे. आई ट्राई एंड गेट इन टच विद सो मेनी पीपल व्हेन इट कम्स टू द कॉर्पोरेट सेटअप एंड दे लाइक मंडे तक हम फोन नहीं उठाएंगे. वीकेंड्स उनकी वजह से, इवन व्हेन दे आर नॉट मदर्स और इवन जस्ट एज एम्प्लॉइज, मेन एंड वुमेन बोथ, उनकी वजह से ना ये बैलेंस की कॉन्वर्सेशन भी शुरू हुई है. नाउ कमिंग टू मॉम्स, न्यू मॉम्स, आई फील Soha, there's so much conversation around it. But it is a luxury that we are sitting and talking about it. Balance is a luxury. हम लोगों में है कि हम बात कर सकते हैं. हम लोगों में है कि we have an expert, we have you, we have me. हम एक शो कर रहे हैं बैलेंस के आसपास. But ये जो बात है ना, it needs to reach the women who are still trying to find their balance. ट्रेन में है, वहाँ पे सब्जियां भी काट रहे हैं, वहाँ पे उनके लंबे दिन भी हैं. हम 8 hour वर्क शिफ्ट भी मांग सकते हैं, उनका 12-16 घंटा. आई फील लाइक this has to go much deeper than just having the conversation. And to define balance for me, it really is a luxury.
That's true. But before I come to you, Dr. Chhabria, I want to take you back to when you said that when you were younger, it was work. And there was no concept. But there are other commitments that even young people who are not yet mothers, who may not choose to be mothers, will have as daughters, as siblings, as, having responsibilities, looking out for a house, etc. So for you personally, before we take the conversation wider to society, what was it like for you before you became a mother in terms of, were you able to just embrace work, and was it just all about work, or were there other things that pulled you away from work?
It was very lopsided for me. It was more work than anything else. And you know me because, there are going to be two conversations, right? I'm talking to you as the host of this show and also as my friend because you know me so well. I'm very driven by work. So, and you've seen me as a single person as well. Now, because this question is so personal to me and the person I am, I came to this town with a mindset कि काम करना है.
Right.
बॉम्बे तो काम करने आए हैं. माँ बाप दिल्ली में हैं.
Right.
शहर दिल्ली था अपना, घर वहाँ पे है. So it took me very long to come to terms with the fact that Mumbai is my home. ये वो होता है ना, वो एक कर्म भूमि होती है.
Right.
So for me, the balance wasn't there. I wasn't that 20-year-old who's saying that, no, I want my weekends off. Or I wasn't that 30-something-year-old who'd be like, yeah, send me an email and I'll reply back on Monday. And I marvel those people. And I don't think I still am. Like, I see myself, even after finishing bedtime, I get to like bedtime for the kids. I do that. And then I sneak out of the room and again I'm sending an email. So I don't have that balance even now.
I want to ask you later about why you feel, where this comes from, this work ethic, the drive, and whether you feel the burnout of that. We're going to get into that later on in the conversation. But first, Dr. Chhabria, thank you for being on the show. You have so much experience on so many issues. Today, we're just talking about work-life balance. And I feel like for a lot of people, we don't understand the emotional aspects of these things. So firstly, is there something like work-life balance? Is it a myth? Does it exist? And is it a real achievable state?
So, work-life balance is definitely real. It's not a myth, but it does not mean that, you're dividing your work and your life 50-50. Okay, I hope there was just a boundary. Just you finish your work, you come home, look after the kids, and don't look at your emails any longer. But that does not happen. I think psychologically, what it means is about being relaxed, whether you're working or whether you're at home. So you're not carrying that tension. Many a times, I was listening to both of you. Many a times what happens is when we are at work.
Before we were rolling or after?
No. That you're trying to fit in everything. When you're at work, you're worrying about kids.
Yeah.
When you're with your kids, you're saying, oh my God, I was supposed to send this email or supposed to reply to this person. And the problem is that you're not there completely.
Not present.
Not present. And that's when the pressure starts.
Yeah.
So of course, it's not that you reach there and, you reached a place and it's there. It's constantly changing.
Yes.
It's shifting. And many a times, you're trying to reach there, you think you've reached there, and then something else needs more attention.
Yes.
And again, your priorities shift. So it is something which one needs to work at. One needs to probably constantly work at and see how you feel. Because when you have achieved maybe 75%, you feel that, okay, I'm more relaxed, I'm more present, and I don't think I'm getting stressed.
Right.
The feeling of being stressed or the feeling of being somewhere else when I'm here.
Yes and no, but you're an expert and I must agree with you. But then, the counter to that is that you can't compartmentalize your brain.
Absolutely.
Ab main stress nahi hongi. Like for instance, I'm sitting here, my daughter.
What are you thinking about as you sit?
My
as you're sitting
daughter's
over here?
dental appointment.
Yes.
So my daughter this morning had a little bit of a dental scare and then she was like, okay, there's pain. And my husband's taken her there.
Right.
So that work-life balance, the balance is always provided by another thing. Na? जैसे अगर तुम बैलेंस भी देखो, एक तराजू को देखो, तो अगर यहाँ से 5 किलो का डंबल निकालोगे तो यहाँ पे 5 किलो का डंबल जाएगा तो बैलेंस आएगा. That 5 kilo dumbbell or whatever that weight is, my husband is taking off me.
Right.
But
Right.
your brain is not going to compartmentalize it. Your brain can never do it.
A few years later, you're going to be burnt out.
But I have a question.
No, I was burnt out even before.
May I just ask a question? I want to understand that this thinking about, are you thinking about her because, there's obviously you're concerned for her, but do you feel like you would have been a better person than Angad at the dentist today?
No, not at all. I'm not thinking that at all. I'm just waiting कि हाँ वो X-ray हो जाए to get to know what's going to happen and a little bit of anxiousness as a mum that okay, this is what it is. But if I wasn't a mum, and if this situation, if I'm sitting in doing this, having this chat with you right now, say 6 years ago, I'd be just talking. I'm saying the compartmentalization, like as a mother, you cannot stop thinking about your children. And sometimes when you're saying na कि when जब काम पे हो तो उधर छोड़ दो, अगर normal दिन होता, तो मैं शायद छोड़ भी देती.
I have another question. Before you became a parent, were you able to focus on one thing at a time?
Yes. But I was taking on too much.
Yes.
Because that's my personality type. Like I don't like sitting idle. Like I was that kind of kid that and my parents used to say this all the time. Agar Saturday, Sunday or koi bhi plan nahi hai, I would start rearranging my room. Like I had this massive.
So you want to be engaged, you want to do something
all the time. But I would do one thing at a time. So if there was a project, then I would do one project. I saw myself like if I would travel, always extend those travel days so that, one can travel much more. Now running back, like we've done, my manager's sitting here. We just did like a 18-hour trip to the US and back because you want to run back to the kids.
Yeah. I know we've done these
that,
things
right?
before, yeah.
So I'm in agreement with what you're saying. Everybody wants to get there, but while I'm listening to you also, unfortunately, I'm still thinking about my kids.
Right.
So that is one thing. One thing in the work-life balance is the fact that when you become a parent, perhaps your nights are not as peaceful You don't sleep that anxiety-free sort of sleep anymore, ever, perhaps. Or perhaps
Actually, you should sleep better because you're so tired and exhausted.
but you're mentally, you're aware of the fact that now there is this child, your heart is in another body, and maybe Neha and I are, maybe we stress more than other parents do. You'll be able to tell us because you work with so many people and you have so many patients that you deal with. Do we stress more than others?
So the thing is, being, stressing about something and being distressed about something, there's a difference.
Yeah.
Okay, and there are studies which show that, you take men and women. Okay, women, 76% of women, okay, feel responsible even when they're not there. Like, she's not at the dentist, but she's still thinking. And honestly, maybe she can't do anything more.
Right.
Because the husband is there, the dentist is there,
Right.
everything is happening. But the problem is that she thinks that she should be there because she's the mother.
Right.
No.
Okay. No. As a parent, you would, any parent.
I trust my husband 100%.
Yeah, I
I'm saying-
understand that.
I don't think so. I'm just going to tell you. So I'm not saying I should be there because I'm a mother. I'm saying I should just know what's on the other side of the X-ray, so then I feel better. That's what I'm
Yes.
saying. दोनों चीजों में फर्क है.
No, that is different.
But
of
that
course.
information will come to you.
Yeah,
When it comes to everyone. It will come to you at the same time that it comes
No,
to
that is different.
everyone.
So medically, you want to know whether there is something to worry about or not.
Right.
Right. So that's normal. That's normal for any parent. But what happens is the guilt that comes up. And a lot of young mothers go through it.
Yes, yes.
Because when they're at work, and even if the child has, say, a little fever,
Yes.
or has taken a vaccination, and it's a post-vaccine fever, there's nothing to worry about. But you just feel guilty that, as a mother, I should be at home.
Yes.
Okay, and that mothers feel more than fathers.
Yes.
76% of mothers, 27% of fathers.
Why is that? Is that biology? Is that
Social
society?
conditioning.
It's
Social
society,
conditioning.
yeah,
It's
it's society.
Because कैसी माँ हो तुम?
लोग क्या कहेंगे?
No, your family itself. Oh, you're a mother, you should be at home. And again, your mom may not say it, but your friends may say it. Somebody else may say it.
Right.
Or you yourself want to give. And when you were talking about both of you, I mean, I see a little amount of perfectionism in both of you.
I definitely
Right?
have
Which is
issues with
perfect.
control.
Yeah.
No, I feel like nobody will be able to feed her as well as I do. Nobody
Right.
will do bedtime. I'm the best influence on her. These are things that I am dealing with. And
Right.
I think over the course of 7 years now, I have become better because there was no sense of balance at all. When I became a
Right.
parent, I lost my identity completely. Lots of things fell apart in my life, but I thought I was, the best mother. But it came at an expense. And
No,
now
and
I've
maybe
understood that.
you are the best mother. But sometimes, when I ask children, what do you want your mom to do? They'll say, tell her to worry less.
Yeah.
Tell her to relax.
Yes.
How old are these kids?
10, 12,
Now, it's
8,
really,
9, yeah.
If she sneezes, I'm like, if she coughs, I look at her and she's like, just relax.
But I'm going to go back to the time when I was a kid. Like, my mom was working for a long time, and I remember that she then quit her job and sat at home because, she had to raise me and my brother. But I don't remember any time where जब मुझे लग रहा था that she's falling apart. मुझे कभी ऐसे लग नहीं रहा था that she's stressing about work-life balance. Even the days when she would go to work, I was always like, greedy for 10 more minutes. मम्मी के साथ 10 minutes और मिल जाए. Which I am even now. Like, you know that. I'm like, I want to take like that one flight earlier so I can be with my mom and spend 2 hours with her. But do kids actually realize that, parents are, but I feel like
So anxiety is something that transmits.
And they
Okay.
absorb energy.
They absolutely know it. So if your parent is relaxed, so advice to both of you is whatever you're doing, be relaxed while you're doing, at
Yes.
least try to do it.
Yeah.
Because when you're relaxed, your child will also learn that from you.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the kids are also learning anxiety. Maybe your mom is a relaxed person. Maybe she went to work not feeling so guilty
Yes.
or being relaxed.
Do you think the previous generation didn't have guilt?
See, no. Previous generation had a lot of guilt. And a lot of them were, trying to juggle, but there were so many other influences which were not there. There were so many things which were there. For example, maybe there was a trusted help. Maybe there was no internet. Maybe you were
Joint families.
No, also nuclear families now is
That's what I
different.
said.
You know,
Yeah,
for
yeah.
instance, like everybody's talking about summer holidays, mein kya karenge? And it's a huge conversation that starts in school from like Jan onwards, as soon as everybody comes back from Christmas break. I mean, I don't get involved in that, but I hear people. Hum log kya karte the summer holidays mein? We would take the train from Kerala, go to Delhi,
Right.
2.5 days in the train, and just 2 months of seeing our parents do nothing. You know, like that was
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah.
I want to be that parent where I can take my children and nothing. मतलब वो phone पे नहीं रहते, कोई landline की लंबी trunk call आती
Yes,
थी,
that
तो
was-
बात होती थी. So I feel the presence of parents also ना has changed. Sometimes you're taking the phone, photos खींच रहे हैं, फिर हम Instagram भी check करेंगे as parents. And I'm not
So,
saying I'm not,
yeah.
but we limit ourselves, of course. The
Right.
phone is in our bags and वो उनके सोने के बाद. But you know, इतनी
So
दुनिया बदल
just
गई
make
है.
exactly. So
Yeah.
being relaxed and doing nothing.
Yes.
That
It's
my husband does
something.
very well.
Yeah.
Because he,
Yeah.
I mean, his energy is.
I feel, I don't want to generalize, but typically, I think that, at least in our lives, both our husbands are more relaxed.
Yeah.
It could be our personality types. I don't know if it's a gender thing that women tend to
Right.
take their roles as mothers very seriously, and we forget to play, and we forget to giggle, and we forget to laugh, and you know, we forget to have ice cream at bedtime because it's probably not a good idea. But the husbands remember.
So, no, women do take their parenting more seriously.
Yes.
You know, in fact, a lot of men have to be reminded that parenting doesn't mean take your child and watch television.
Yes.
You know?
I'm happy you said that and not us.
no, not at all. It doesn't mean that.
But before, because this conversation, of course, can flow in many directions.
Right.
I feel like work-life balance is not a formula.
Right.
It's sort of like a pie chart. It keeps shifting, like you said
Yes.
earlier on in this conversation. So just to understand from you right now, if you have 5 priorities, what is taking up your time and your energy right now, this week, for example?
I never feel like the kids, or I never feel like my kids take up my time and energy. I always feel I want to have enough energy and time for them. So, you know, strangely, the way I think is this, you know, and wherever else I can keep time. Like, you know, like for instance, I've had my manager for 20 years. We didn't have boundaries as to what time someone can call the other person.
Right.
Because it's just him and me, right? So he would call at like 12:15 saying, itne baje ki flight hai kal, main batana bhul gaya, which is totally okay. You know, that's what you do. The ecosystem, the fact is that there's no ecosystem in our business.
Right.
And now, like, you know, he has boundaries, saying that, no, I know that she's going to be doing bedtime at this time. I know that she'll make time. I know that if I can, like, I mean, I'm speaking about him. He knows that, you know, if it's tangible, if it can shift Saturdays and Sundays out of bounds, I'll try and fix all the work. So that way we try and compartmentalize. But the one thing that I didn't do as a new mom was invest in myself. So, and I mean, for me, it's not because of any, I'm just very fond of fitness. So I'm very fond of, like, say, going for a run or, you know, playing a sport or something. So I do 2 hours of that.
And that you always have been.
I have been, but that got sidelined.
Yeah.
So the kids, number one, at all times.
Yeah.
And family and home.
You're a very good daughter.
I mean, we all on.
No, but I think that a lot of people struggle to make time
Yeah.
for their parents, and sometimes that falls in your priorities somewhere lower down. But I don't see that with you.
Yeah, no, number one priority. So kids and family,
Family.
husband, number one. I take them for granted when I go and, you know, work out.
Yeah.
So like before they wake up and I'm like, can you do the 20 minutes of kids time? I always reach out to my mom if she's with us,
Yeah.
saying I want to hit the gym. Then work. But it does get lopsided. Like the balance, I don't think it's, you know, it's a weekly balance. I really think it's a lifelong thing. So like, you know, sometimes when you know, like I know that for the next 10 days, we're traveling to Delhi to meet the grandparents. So I want to squeeze in all my work so I
Finish
can
it
finish
off,
it
yeah.
off. And
Yeah.
I have constant chats with my children that you're going to see less of mama, but then you're going to see a lot of mama.
Right.
And then this is what she needs to do. And the conversation, I mean, and like Angad and me also have this chat, like, I don't need to go to work every day to a different place and do all this because the kids need to, or future mein kya hoga. I mean, of course, everybody needs that sense of security, but I'm also doing it because it makes me happy. I must admit it to myself.
Right.
I really enjoy it. Or the reason why I'm here to have this conversation, not because of anything else, because I want to.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, in the larger scheme of things, if you look at the week or life or year, that's where my priorities lie. Unfortunately, friends have taken a back seat.
Yeah, social.
Yeah,
sort of
and that's coming
life
back
things.
now. I feel like we've been making time, more time for each other, and all
Sometimes our
our
bedtimes clash. That's all.
yeah,
And
because
then we fall asleep doing bedtime.
and then there's like till next morning. Yeah,
But we understand.
Yeah, and I feel like that those are the kind of people you need in your life, right? Who get you.
Yeah. But I want to ask you, Dr. Anjali, I feel like, is it actually important to strike balance? There are people there, especially women, who enjoy working hard, who have passion projects, who are building a business, and they really derive a sense of happiness from working long hours. Is that okay? And will that imbalance in one form affect them in some way negatively?
So what happens is the brain doesn't understand whether you're working because of passion or whether you're just working.
Right.
Okay, and your body doesn't understand it. And the whole idea is that, okay, if you're relaxed and you're doing it, maybe your hormones won't get affected. But if you're stressed, whether you're cooking, whether you're working out, and you're stressed because you're wanting to be somewhere else, that starts affecting you. That starts affecting your hormones. That starts affecting your metabolism. And slowly you will shift into something without even realizing that you have.
What are those? What are some of those signs of stress, of your body going?
So, some people complain that they can't sleep.
Yes.
Okay, some people have weight gain or weight loss. It could just be losing hair. Okay, it could be your skin erupting. It could be your gut going haywire. And then, of course, there could be signs of burnout, signs of exhaustion, just waking up and saying, do I really want to be here? I'm doing it because I have to. I don't like to.
Right.
Okay, and suddenly there are some people who will get up and say, I don't want to work any longer.
Yeah, suddenly.
They haven't even seen it coming.
Right.
So if you want to be doing what you're doing for the next 20 years, and of course it's not easy. When you were talking, I was thinking of the time once I fainted at work. Okay, and I was also a young mom trying to take my kids swimming, coming back, running, taking them swimming, going to work, and at the hospital, the senior doctor who I was working with, he told me a very nice thing. He said, between the hospital and your house comes your parents' house. Twice a week, go there, sleep for half an hour, and then go there.
How nice.
Such simple advice, because he realized when I was at work, I was trying to micromanage things which were happening at home, even though I lived with my mother-in-law who doted on my kids, and my parents' house was 10 minutes away.
Right.
Right. And probably if you ask the parents, they probably enjoyed spending more time with the grandparents than with this mother who was trying to do everything. Right?
Right.
And I would come to work. When I was at home, I was, oh my God, that patient, I should do this, I should do that, because I wanted to. I love what I do.
Yes.
But then slowly you realize that the magic is giving 100% where you are and not feeling guilty.
Right.
Because today both your kids also have a lot of things. I mean, both your personalities are, they're emulating it.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, they're learning from you.
Yeah.
When I'm saying that the part that you said, where you said that बच्चों को swimming भी लेके जाना है, वापस आना है आधे घंटे के लिए, micromanage करना है, सोना भी है. How old were your kids?
Little 3 and 7.
Yeah, 3 and 7. So I'm saying that the fact is that शुरुआत में ये सब होता है सबके साथ. Like my kids are 3 and 6, right? This is also part and a process of learning. So an expert like you also, and I'm just saying, when women are watching this or when people are watching this, आप भी जो सुन रहे हैं, उनको जो इतनी दिग्गज है, आपको इतना knowledge है हर चीज के बारे में, but she's also been through it.
Yes.
So there's a part of you that are also thinking, बाकियों के साथ नहीं होता है, सबके साथ होता है. It happens to everybody that you take this load, you get stressed out, you realize you're on the verge of, burning out. Then you start picking your battles, saying, ये मेरी जिंदगी में जरूरी है, ये है. You see कि 6 महीने निकल गए, मेरे बच्चे और लंबे हो गए, मैंने देखा नहीं. Then you start bringing it back. So just start gathering those pieces. Understand, ये जरूरी है अपनी मुट्ठी इससे भरो, ये जरूरी है अपनी मुट्ठी इससे भरो. फिर सीख के ऐसे बन जाओ.
But that is very hard to do. I think.
It's
Right,
hard
right.
to do, but I'm saying that
It happens.
Yeah,
Slowly
it'll
it
take time.
happens. And I think what you need to learn is, sometimes, say, kids need priority. I mean, if today if somebody was not well, I don't
Drop
care
everything.
about. Yeah. Sometimes your work needs priority.
Yes.
And kids also learn from that.
Yes.
Because I think the trick is in not feeling guilty.
Yeah.
Because when you're constantly feeling guilty, you're damaging yourself.
Yes.
And that's when the signs of stress become distress, and then of course anxiety, depression, metabolism, etc., etc.
But we referred to this a little bit in terms of the work-life
Yeah.
balance and men and women perceiving it differently. I think we referred to the fact that perhaps men don't feel the same amount of guilt. So, what are the challenges that men face when it comes to work-life balance? And do you think, like today, with society perhaps evolving, norms evolving, equal parenting and things coming to the front, how do men perceive work-life balance?
See, I think men are slowly being dragged, into saying that, if you wanted a child, now you better be a father.
Right.
Spend time with the children, which is not something which is bad. I think it's fantastic. But what is happening is that they shouldn't feel dragged. Okay. And at the same time, they should not feel guilty, whether it is about taking paternity leave or whether it's about taking the child to the dentist. So I think they are also getting dragged into this. But if you look at it very broadly, earlier the responsibility of the finance used to be the father's. The responsibility of the kitchen, the parenting, schooling was the mother's. Now, whether things were simpler at that time, or whether they're simpler now.
I want to take you back further to hunters and gatherers.
Yes.
A lot of people feel that there was a time in primitive times, ancient times, when the men would go out and hunt and the women would keep home and life was simple.
Yes.
And we were biologically built to perform certain roles.
Right.
And now women are stepping outside of their natural habitats and the world is going crazy. And as a result, men are suffering, women are suffering, and things are not the way that they're meant to be. What do you think about that?
See, the fact of the matter is that, I think things are settling down. Because there was a phase where the woman was thought to be a superwoman. You're a superwoman, you should wake up in the morning, cook your child's dabba, go to work, take care of everything, come back home, smile, and be like a good wife waiting to welcome your husband.
Right.
You do not have the luxury of getting tired.
Right.
Right? Now, at least people are understanding that no, she may need a me time.
Right.
Her exercise is important to
Yeah.
her. And yes, a lot of kids also see that the working woman, my mother is a working woman, and there's nothing wrong with that.
No.
She wants to work. She does not have to work.
Right.
I think that concept has changed. Of course, the men are now like, okay, we also have to shape up.
Right.
And slowly that transition is happening. But I think that transition should be a happier transition, not a forced transition. Because those squabbles, when they start happening, that is where I think more discussions need to happen. People need to discuss, because many a times, just before coming here, I was talking to this girl, she's a working woman, but she has not spoken to her husband and saying, I don't mind sharing the cost of the house.
Right.
So I said, why don't you have that conversation? And she's saying, how do I have that conversation? I said, sit down.
That she's worried about hurting his ego.
Yes. Yes.
I want to ask you, in terms of home, now we all live in nuclear families. I feel like perhaps that is a reason why also we depend a lot more on our partners. Earlier, perhaps we had mothers-in-laws, we had, mothers, cousins to help us. Now it's you, it's your husband, it's your life partner, it's your children, and if not you, then him. So we lean more on each other. For you, after you got married and you had children, was there an expectation, like there is for many people, that, okay, the husband works and the wife looks after the children? I may know the answer to this, but other people may not. So I'm saying, what was your environment like after you became a mother?
I mean, nothing changed for me. So it was just Angad and me, and then we never kind of questioned each other's professional choices. Of course, you fall back for feedback. Should I do this? Should I not do this? Things changed not after marriage, but things changed after we had Meher.
Yeah.
So then it's also about, will you be home or will I be home? So just questioning time and matching schedules. But apart from that, we've been like what's that saying? Behind every successful man, there's a woman.
There's a tired woman.
And there's a tired
exhausted woman.
But I feel behind every working woman, there's usually a man who's holding fort, and that is your partner and your husband. And if it isn't that, then there's a problem there, because it's hard, right? And this statement is not for, and I don't want to offend anyone, but it's not for the single moms.
Yeah.
Because it's really hard for them in any case. So one has to look at that very, very differently. But when we are talking about, sharing homes with our husbands and our partners, we expect them to do that. And nothing really changed for me except matching schedules. We discussed our finances. We discussed, not that, what's your net worth or what's that. We haven't gotten into that, but it's like, I contribute, he contributes. He still thinks that, he's the man of the house. So there's a lot more generosity from that end. And, I feel like he thinks in plurals at all times. And
as in we, us.
Let me do
What
this.
is mine is ours.
But when I'm in a mall, I think about plurals a lot, because then I'm shopping for everybody. But that is my department, because it's always one with the better taste. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, I've actually trivialized the answer to a great extent. But there's nothing to contribute as far as my personal experience is concerned. But my only hope is that जो आपके सवाल का जवाब दिया मैंने, if people can follow that, it becomes much easier.
But what I want to say is, because you said, I trivialized it, but that might be your answer, but there must be moments of conflict, there must be moments of stress, there must be moments that not just you, me, all of us have had, where, when it comes to sharing the load, for example, when it comes to an expectation, if I'm not talking about just your partner, I'm talking about your environment, where you might have experienced or witnessed something where you feel like the pressure is more.
Of course. Oh, that way, yes, 100%. It's the micro stuff, right? Yeah. It's the scheduling. It's being responsible. It's the slip up, because you're, sending ye driver ko udhar bhejiye, ye isko. And it all trickles down, And it all trickles down. So jo schedule banata hai, wahi karta hai. Or like,
And I feel like you would be taking on more responsibility naturally.
Yeah.
Because you like to get things done.
I like to get things done, and I feel like women are wired in a way, and towards being far more nurturing, like things like
and multitasking.
Tiffin mein kya dena hai? So you could have.
I'm not good at the tiffin.
I can't pass out at like 8:45 or 8:30 on weeknights if I haven't discussed tiffin mein kya hai, because in the morning I'm very fond of having the morning to myself.
Yeah.
So I want to have that 1 hour in the morning, just have my tea and not being asked questions. So wo karne ke liye, to earn that now, you have to make sure that everything is taken care of at night.
Yeah. But this is also because this is your system. This is the way that you like it done. I'm saying that if, for example, you go off to work for 2 weeks, if I go off to work for 2 weeks, we leave our children with Angad, Kunal, they will do it, but they'll do it their own way.
Yes.
And like Kunal says, if you're going to leave me with Anaya, then let me do it my way. I'm not going to follow your schedule. Whereas I'm like, why can't you follow my schedule? Because then I'll be very happy.
See, when men talk to me, they tell me that, we hate it when our women are trying to micromanage everything.
Yes.
Like the child does not feel like eating rice. So I gave him a chapati. Or I gave him an extra chocolate.
No, to nahi, but I micromanage
if I was to call Angad now, which I'm not going to do, would he say that you try and micromanage him? Or the way he does things?
He thinks, because he is very relaxed as a person. So it's not that he doesn't get things done.
And being relaxed is a good thing.
Actually.
Yes, of course. I want to be Angad.
Right.
I see Angad. I like you said, no, I'll tell you what troubled me so much was just like, so मेरे को किसी ने कहा कि go to your parents and take a 30-minute nap. मेरे को अगर कोई बोल दे 30-minute nap, I'm like, nap, stress.
Yeah.
Brain to shut down because it takes that long. So, and if somebody said, no, अब ऐसा करो, तुम 15 minutes सो के आ जाओ. I can't. But when I see my husband take 15-minute cat naps in the afternoon, I'm like, I want this.
That's the goal.
I want this.
Well, a lot of women say that in our next life, I want to be married to you, but let's reverse roles.
But that is
I
why,
want to be the
perhaps it is
husband.
because you are doing all of that he can be relaxed.
Yes.
And perhaps if you didn't do so much, he would not be napping
Yeah, like-
so comfortably.
Yeah, like we have this joke between us, and like कहाँ जाना है? I'm like, people are going here, there, कुछ plan करते हैं, like क्या करेंगे? ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा साउथ तो स्पेन जाएंगे ना, क्या करेंगे? अच्छा खाना खाएंगे, बीच पे चले जाएंगे, फिर एसी ऑन करेंगे, फिर दोपहर को सोएंगे. तुम ऐसा करो, ये लो एसी का करो, यही सो जाओ, पैसा मत खर्च करो. Like, but I'm just seeing the attitude.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, I mean, there's no
stress around
Yeah.
it.
The drive is not like to
Yeah.
be this other person or this.
Yeah.
We are not striving for excellence. But the one thing that he and I have in common is, health and happiness first.
Yeah.
And I mean, the schedules don't trouble us. क्या खा रहे हैं, अगर प्लेट में खाना पड़ा है, और it's not, obviously wasting food is not okay, but sometimes you don't want to eat, right? And the kid says नहीं खाना है, so छोड़ दो, you know?
You have to be on the same page, I think.
Yeah.
on certain
Yeah.
things.
I think you have to
signals
agree on the bigger picture.
Yes.
Yes.
That is important.
Yeah.
Whether you want to, how you want to, what you want, the value systems of the house need to match.
Yeah, like I know that if it gets hard, and we always talk about, let's just go somewhere with hawa achhi hai, let's go, step back, the pace is slower, and these are conversations we have. We never do it, right?
But even having that conversation.
I know that if ever that
Expressing
happens,
similar desires.
or like you said, that you suddenly feel the burn, and one fine morning you'll be like, I don't want to do anything. I hope that never happens, because abhi tak to nahi hua hai. But if that happens, I know that he'll be aligned with me, because then that's the bigger picture.
But when people become parents, and that work-life balance again, when people become parents, they say that it's not that life changes, one life ends and another life begins.
Right.
And I feel like it is a stressful time for a marriage. There is a lot of transition.
Yes. Yes.
Women's bodies are going through a lot of change. So I know certainly for me, there was a huge transition period. What about achieving balance in a relationship? How do you maintain the marriage and the romance?
Right.
Like one thing that I've stopped doing is I've stopped calling Kunal Papa, because he's not my Papa.
Right.
So, like I will, in front of Inaya also, I'll say, ask Kunal to do it. And she's like, what do you mean, ask Papa to do it? And I'm like, yeah, but he's not my Papa. So I think, just little things
Right.
I've tried to do. But I feel like a lot of people's marriages might take a backseat
Absolutely.
when you become
I
parents.
think when you become parents, first of all, the immediate parenting, just to see your spouse, to see your wife become a mother. A lot of men can't deal with that. And then your moods are changing, you're breastfeeding, you're not sleeping, and if you don't get enough sleep, and a lot of women also go through postpartum issues.
Yes.
Now if they navigate well and come out of it, your relationship with your body changes. And if you can manage all that, okay, then once that settles, I think it's important to get the equation of the man and woman back.
So give it some time, as you
Yes.
said, like a lot of people feel like, okay, this is happening just to us. A lot of people go through that transition. It is
Absolutely.
perfectly
Yeah,
normal.
yeah,
But
yeah.
then bring your marriage back on track.
Yeah.
How?
Yeah.
How?
So,
How do you prioritize anger?
By realizing that I don't, हम हमेशा कहते हैं ना, पूरा टाइम अपने बच्चों में मत घुसो. When you have that free time, ये नहीं है कि सारे वक्त और हर चीज में बच्चों का होना जरूरी नहीं है. So suppose you decide a simple thing like, and when that even our romance is based on that. It's not based on the big things, right? किसी कोई picture देखने चले गए या फिर drive पे चले गए. Drives तो we don't do, but I'm saying there's a huge amount of romance he and I have over food.
Yeah.
We both love to eat. And if you're going out for a meal, like it's okay sometimes not to take the kids.
Yes.
It's okay to indulge in each other or do that one odd movie night. And I promise you, strangely people think that the romance ends after you have the kids. No, it's in fact so much stronger that the time that you needed 4 date nights in a week when you were single and needed to see each other all the time after having 2 kids and after being married for 7 years, just that one evening of a movie and, a date with each other or a dinner date with each other where there's no one else, kind of helps you rekindle the romance for another week. That lease of life and the acknowledgement and the time actually that you need to give each other is so much lesser.
Yeah.
And we just appreciate each other so much more. Like, there's also sometimes when I come back and, you know, from a trip, because I travel more than him, and I'll get him something and be like, "Kya hua? Kuch problem? Kuch ho gaya?" Like, there's doubt, you know, and that's why this is for you. But but then there are times that you need the kids, or like, you know, I feel like our romance lies in little things like enjoying a show together. Where have we reached? Then we talk about it. Then we discuss it, and
just keeping, I think, the communication going. Are there specific
So a few
strategies
things
that you offer to people?
So you know, many a times now, since we are talking to a lot of people over here, I think it's important that, you know, once the kids come, many times, you know, parents tend to keep them together even when they're sleeping. Okay, and it's important to get the kids their individual space. You know, it may not be possible for everybody to have a separate bedroom for the kids, but at least when you're sleeping together, you know, try and keep the children away, even if it is, say, on the floor, because the touch is important
Between the husband and the wife.
between the husband and the wife. And you don't want, you know, any of them feeling that, oh my God, I've lost the touch.
Yeah.
So I think connecting physically is important. And of course, talking about issues that matter to you. You know, many a times parents like, I need to travel, but my husband needs to travel. Now, do I cancel my work travel? You know, so where people are aligned, it's different. But many times couples fight on these little things. So I think to have those in perspective, you know, discuss it out that, oh, if it's very important, should we get someone else to be with us? You know,
Like,
even
like your mother would step in, or
yeah, and also that, you know, look at it from the other person's point of view. Like, you know, I mean, and the balance, I feel like your work-life balance also needs to be with your husband. So, for instance, Angad and me do the same thing. We don't have a routine, right? Our professions don't demand that. So, if he's expected to be away from home from, say, 15th of Feb to 15th of March, and if I get a job at the same time,
what do you do?
What do you do? Right?
No, what do you do?
So no, I'm answering that.
Yeah.
So what do you do? So then also think of it like, you know, look at it, sort of look at the sum total of the amount of time that you've gone out, the number of times that he stepped in. And our relationship is at a point where I know that if it's between him and me, for the number of times he stepped up for me, it's time for me to like say that, oh no, you go ahead and do this. If push comes to shove. Of course, I have my mom who will be like, no, you know, I'll come in and I'll step in. So one way or the other, because around the children, as much as you have primary caretakers, you need to have
a family
parent.
member.
Yeah, a
So
family
that parent could be a grandparent, dada, dadi, nana, nani, maybe a masi who you trust, or I mean, and also we're at that age where the masis and mamas and all are all busy with their kids as well, right? So I feel that one way or the other, look at like the balance in totality. ये नहीं कि इस हफ्ते क्या हुआ या पिछले घंटे क्या हुआ.
You can't have that equal. Somebody needs to prioritize.
And
you
it is
know,
okay
and-
for you to be failing in some department at some point.
I think so. Why are we considering it failing?
Right.
You know, for example, I think today's moms are so particular about the food that they give their child. Okay, everything has to be nutritious, protein, this, that. Earlier, people just ate what they got.
Right.
You know, and it's a good thing. But again, at some point, if you feel ki it's okay, next week I'm not going to worry about the food, it's okay, you know, let the maid or the cook or the grandparent decide. So I think you have to also leave the small stuff.
I was trying to imagine myself doing that.
In my case, it's not so much, and I want to give, maybe there are more mums like me also, that if, when there's food on the table, the larger lesson is not wasting.
Yeah.
And more than anything else, अगर तुमको चावल खाने हैं, रोटी नहीं खानी, कुछ और खाना है, अगर तुमको, you know, little shift of ingredients, because you know that, okay, yeah, gluten is going to just slow them down. There are many options. Even in the normal Indian diet, there are many options. But I'm just saying the larger lesson for me is waste मत करो खाना, या फिर अपनी plate उठा के अंदर रखो and be respectful to the person who's actually given the food to you.
True.
Those life lessons are more important.
But then you read that book on why French kids don't throw food and how they don't throw tantrums. It's also that
how it
relationship
is
with food
the
should be one of
is,
joy.
Yeah.
Should not be one of stress. Ki khao, khana khatam nahi kiya hai, ek aur niwala.
And also no forcing.
No forcing.
It's so important.
Which is important.
Yeah, nahi kha lo, nahi ek aur bite. Kaise imagine now if you're full and I keep doing.
Imagine if somebody did that to us.
Yeah, never.
Yeah.
But you're a public personality. There's a huge amount of limelight on how you raise your children, what you do. So I feel like, is there more pressure for you to, and I know the answers to this, but I'm just saying in terms of, do you feel the pressure to appear like you are able to do it all with ease? Because you're a public personality. You're a role model.
Might as well use this platform to tell you no. I mean, I don't think so. And I feel that there are more times than there are more times when I'm falling apart. There are more times that when I'm just like, oh my God, like, why is this happening to me? There are more times that I question that, why did I take up so much? Because every time that I'm out there doing something, there's a huge part of me that says that, okay, no, I'd rather be with my kids, or be like, you know, who told you to take up so many things in one day? And the idea of you as a person, you feel that मेरे से हो जाएगा ये, कल तो मैं ये 3 इंटरव्यू और एक पैडल की गेम और अपने बच्चों को देख लूंगी और ये कर लूंगी, वो no. And it's okay to even go through that, because that's when you realize, you know, you have to walk the mile, you have to sweat it out to know कि यहाँ है ना, ये एक बार हुआ है, इसके बाद मत होने दे.
No, but a lot of people just listening to you, you know, the message that you're giving is that you don't have to be available for everything.
Everyone,
or
yeah.
you don't have to be doing everything perfectly.
Because वो करके
you can
देख लिया.
choose
Yes.
what you want to prioritize. You want to prioritize your kids, your work. Okay. And if there's something important, you know, so a lot of, I mean, advice that I give a lot of people like you is just keep your phone on silent, of course, you know, and have an extra instrument just for the people you love to
No,
reach
but
out
you're
to
right.
you.
It took me that time to get to that point in my life where I was just like, okay, now, say 11:30. So 11:15, I turn off my phone and I then turn it on at 8:15 in the morning. So doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter to me. But yeah, and it goes on silent at 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
So from 9 to 10:30, driver ko kabhi time diya ye nahi. Because then I'm not going to turn on my phone. And if my mom and dad need to reach me, because I'm home with
There's
the kids.
settings on your phone now where you can put a couple of
Yeah,
numbers.
and then of course they have Angad's number, which is pretty much always on silent. But it's fine. No, I'm just kidding. But I also want to tell everyone, मैं कभी कभार आपको लगता है ना बहुत हो गया. Even after that बहुत हो गया ना, there's you know, there's after a storm also there's lull.
Yeah.
You can enjoy that lull. That storm has to come. I know I'm reversing the saying, but it really holds fort when it comes to your own mental health also. इतना वहाँ भूचाल आ जाता है कभी-कभी आपके दिमाग में कि क्या करें, क्या ना करें. And उसके बाद आपको वो सब करने के बाद पता चलता है कि no, what you need is your peace. I learned how to say no. Like, it took me very long in my life to understand that if I'm going to say yes to my children for 90% of the things, unless it jeopardizes their health or their safety or their other things that they need in life, and if I'm going to be there for my work, myself, my family, and then my friends, फिर और चीजों की जगह नहीं है.
So where is it easiest to delegate?
Support staff, and then request for help with my mom, and of course Angad always steps up.
Yeah.
But as much as I can do on my own, yeah, I'd like to, because I feel as a person, and it's not just, you know, and it's not a man-woman thing.
Right.
It's just that I'm just that person who likes to do everything on my own. उससे भी, and I feel ज़्यादा तेजी से हो जाता है काम. बोलेंगे, फोन करेंगे, वेट करेंगे, हो गया?
Yeah.
हो गया, अभी तक नहीं हुआ, तो उसी में जारी से खुद ही कर लो.
But it's true. It's just say dark.
Yeah.
Perfectionism.
Nah.
But perfectionism is a problem.
Is a huge problem.
Speedy.
Yeah. No, but I'm saying perfection is a problem.
Is a huge problem. Okay, choose where you want to be perfectionistic. Don't try and do it everywhere, because then you'll be cooking, cleaning, and your staff will be watching you.
And just spell out for me the actual impact on your body, hormonally, mentally, of not doing that, of continuing a path of perfectionism, of not achieving work-life
So
balance.
you're constantly putting pressure on yourself. When you're doing that, there are hormones in your brain. There are axes which get affected. your entire metabolism gets affected. You get affected physically and emotionally because it's like you're always trying to run. You're always on the go. So you're just not letting yourself relax. When you sit in a relaxed manner and when you sit, waiting for something to happen, that is the difference.
But I feel like वहाँ पे भी balance आता है. Like I'm going to give my own example, and I feel वहाँ पे भी like you speed up things in your day, but then I don't know if it happens to you. Like I feel that it happens to you as well. पूरा काम खत्म करने के बाद we make it like it's almost like दरवाजे बंद होने के पहले we slip in at like 6:30, 6:45 because then we're with the kids.
Yeah.
And I feel and जब हम बच्चों के साथ होते हैं फिर फोन किधर भी हो because and why I keep bringing the phone back is because that's our only point of contact, right? हमारे काम में और कुछ होता नहीं है.
And for lots of people now, post-COVID, people are bringing their work home. And that's a good thing. That enables you to achieve a lot more. But it is also not a good thing because
you're not able to switch off.
There are no lines. There is no work-life boundary at all. And you're trying to do both things. And therefore, you're not able to be present, as you said, in either of them 100%.
Right. No, see, it's a technique. Like, for example, as you said, you come home, you've spent time with the kids, now you're relaxed, and now you say, okay, let me finish that work. That the entire ball game changes where whatever you do, you're more present and you're relaxed. If you're relaxed while doing it, please keep working.
Right.
Okay. But you think you're relaxed and you're not relaxed.
Yeah.
That is a problem.
You've experienced, this was perhaps, we've referred to burnout. So I'm saying in terms of other people who experience burnout, I think I really value my self-care. I think I always have. It's a priority for me. Like I will change my day around to have that massage, to get my workout in, to sleep on time. I've really, especially in my 40s, realized that if I don't look after myself, I'm not going to be any value to anyone else around me.
Absolutely.
So I feel like that has not been a struggle for me. I feel like you're getting there.
Yeah.
But from burnout, how do you bounce back?
I feel like for me, I just cut the cord. Like I was just seeing myself being there for people and for things that I could either delegate or just say no to. So,
and the recent obsession with paddle, is that, explain that. Is that bonding time with Angad? Is that physical fitness that creates endorphins that makes you happy? What is it about?
So the thing I realized, so it started off with, Angad and me trying to do something fun apart from just, and both of us are into fitness. And also, both of us are runners and running is also very isolating. So if he's running, I can't run with him and engage.
You're running after him.
And it wasn't intentional. I mean, he also said up your game and then I'll come and play with you. So it's a huge compliment for me that he's playing with, he's playing paddle with me. But the thing about what I realized after playing sport is that, and that's something that I didn't do. Like, this is not competitive, but there is a sense of competition for those 2 hours a day. And you play badminton and, it makes you focused.
Yes.
It makes you healthy. It makes you come to terms with failure. It makes you want to bounce back.
You're dealing well with failing at times?
And
how's that going?
A lot. And the most important thing is, like, I realized, and he would always say, just say, stay focused. Don't let your mind travel. If you do that, just watch the ball and ho jayega. I was like, but then, I did it. I promise you, even at work, I'm like, you have to treat everything like a sport that you're playing. You give it your 100%. You don't want to fail. Even if you do, you bounce back and you stand up on your feet and you stay focused. That's what athletes do.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm an athlete, but if you learn that lesson,
yes,
and I've learned that lesson very late in life, but playing sport has taught me that.
Yeah.
And it's great. Like, I mean, I can go on and on about it, but you're going to laugh at me, but I can genuinely focus even on my lines better.
But this is
what happens, yeah.
I think that's so true, because you realize that even if you're playing for that hour and a half, you're really not able to look at your phone because it's so fast-paced.
Yeah.
And life has not stopped. Things have, everybody is fine.
Yeah, and also, like, when I leave the kids, I tell my children, like, Mama's going to play paddle. And they're like, okay, then I will see you in 2 hours. I always say 2 hours.
Yeah.
And even my support staff, they're like, okay, abhi didi khel rahi hai. Like, I would always, the first few times, I'm like, why are you calling me? Like, why is my phone ringing? And they're like, अच्छा वो सब्जी जो आपने बोला था वो वाला सब्जी नहीं तो.
But if you don't answer the phone, then they'll
yeah, they'll figure it out. I mean, it started off from being a problem to becoming a joke to them understanding, but it takes that much time. And you know, I genuinely feel because I mean, also because I know that we're coming to an end of this interview, I really feel that work-life balance is a conversation which I started off by saying is a luxury. I really think it needs to trickle down to men and women both who have very, very long hours. I think there has to be a change in the system where there is, you know, there are divided duties even at home. Like all of this needs to be implemented in homes that are listening, are watching, in the corporate setup, everywhere. And usi cheez se bahut farak padega, not because of anything else. Looking at it.
You know, it's so true. And I think that even in India now, there was a recent survey that said that actually people would choose work-life balance over a higher salary.
Yes.
I wanted to just draw attention because you said systemic change. We have examples of societies in Japan and in Scandinavia. Scandinavia, there's a huge focus on work-life balance, on less working hours, sometimes 6 hours working days. They have something called fika, which is regular coffee breaks, which they feel improves productivity. On the other hand, paternity leave. On the other hand, you have countries like Japan where there is and has been a huge sense of long working hours, loyalty to work, and as a result of that, something called karoshi, which is actually sort of deaths induced by stress,
right?
Work stress. Where does India fit into all of that now?
So India, I think, is waking up to this idea. You know, because you saw during COVID, people realized that, okay, I can work out of home. So working hybrid has become a thing.
Yes.
Okay. And we've heard of so many young deaths, even in India. You know, somebody who's so passionate about running, who is doing 18-hour days, is suddenly dropping down dead.
Right.
Because somewhere the stress has got into them.
Right.
So I think we are somewhere learning and people are absorbing this idea, but we are still at, we have a long way to go.
So a couple of things that would take us there that you would like to see implemented.
I think the offices, corporates must start having regular working hours, must not expect that their staff is going to be answerable to them on weekends, and should not say, oh, if you want to work, if you're passionate about your work, then you better be doing this. I think the thinking has to change, which is happening, but we still need more awareness. So I'm happy that, programs like yours are going to get these points across. Of course, we need to have more workshops with corporates explaining this to them and also helping people to do it. So a lot of cognitive retraining is required for that.
I have a friend who you know very well, Niranjana, and for every podcast that we have shot, she has an assumption, which is usually a controversial assumption, and then we ask our expert to either prove that assumption accurate or debunk it. And I don't know where she stands. I think she's got more wrong than right so far, which she's not enjoying. But for the work-life balance, she had a question for you, Dr. Chhabria, which is that she feels that the most successful people perhaps achieve a level of success by sacrificing something in their personal lives to get ahead. So is that true?
I don't think so. I think it is about reorganizing. I think it is about prioritizing and being able to shift priorities. So when you're working, I mean, if you're passionate about your work, external success or external validation does not mean too much.
Right.
Of course, it's important to be successful in the real world, earn money, etc., etc. But at the same time, the really successful people are actually happy people from within. So when they make choices, their choices depend on their own happiness and not external validation.
That's so true. That I think is the goal, to have that sense of what is it that actually makes me happy, to drown out the noise sometimes.
Absolutely.
And to focus
so
on
you're
that.
not competing with the rest of the world. You're just doing better and better for yourself.
And therefore there's no guilt.
There's no guilt, and you're relaxed and you're able to do whatever you're doing 100%. I call this live 100%. So if I'm here with you, I'm 100%. I'm not thinking about what was and what will be.
Right.
So the minute you can learn to do that, then you're enjoying yourself all the time.
I think you've done really well in terms of being present through most of this conversation.
Yeah.
There were a couple of times when I saw you, think about something else, but I think you've done.
But for my standards, yeah, I think I've done well. Also, I'm a prime suspect of all of this. Like, for
As am I.
yeah, I'm going to be a patient after this because I'm stressed. I'm anxious.
This podcast is actually not airing anyway. The idea was just to get the two of you together and
Trying to find patience.
yes, but off camera when we finish rolling. So
Yeah.
this was just an introduction to each other.
I'm going to get this done.
Hello, it's done. Thank you later.
But that's the truth, right? Like, there is mom guilt. I am anxious. What did you start? You started by saying, no, then you're the one who needs help. And I'm fine with that. I'm fully aware. But my problem with coming and seeking help is I don't have time right now. I can't fit it in.
No. I want to ask, when is the right time to seek help? And when is the right time to seek help, actually?
No, I think when you feel that, I should be at work when I'm at home. And when I'm at home, vice versa.
So then you can go to Dr. Chhabria because
So-
you established at the start of this podcast that you want to be in multiple places at the same time.
Yeah, but I also feel like I've reached this point in my life where when we were growing up, we had these slam books.
Yeah.
What's your favorite thing to do? What's your hobby? I remember when I started getting slightly older, but even then you're not older when you're doing slam books. So I'm just like, I wrote a couple of times over many years, staring at the ceiling. What's your hobby? Staring at the ceiling.
Really?
And my dad would be like, that's my girl, because he's like, there is joy in that if you
Yeah.
find that. Now I want to achieve that. Imagine.
Yeah.
And most people would be like, air guitaring, playing tennis.
Yeah, and if you find someone staring at the ceiling, you'll be like, what are you doing?
I want to be able to be there. Like, I want to just be able to watch a show without like picking my phone up, or I don't want to be stressed, or I don't want to have mom. I have so much mom guilt that it is hard to. It's another conversation.
But it's not you, it's me, it's you, it's
I think
everyone.
it's everybody. So, what I tell moms is that take a small break. And the break can be maybe 2 hours of doing nothing
Yeah.
or just enjoying your massage.
2 hours.
2 hours is a lot of
But
time.
I do that.
right?
Like I've
Yeah.
seen. I've learned from her.
I'm doing that
Yeah.
now.
And it
I do
helps
that.
you.
But
It
I also
helps you
try
to
and
be
do it
good.
at a point where the minute like somebody sends me a birthday invite for my children, so I'm like, 4 o'clock on 27th, I quickly call up
Yes.
the salon and be like, abhi massage book kar lo. But it's
Yeah, yeah.
compartmentalizing as well.
No,
So,
that is
that's
true.
important.
That is true. You want to do your best. But you want to continue to do your best, not get tired while doing your best.
Right.
Yeah, but I'm enjoying it. I want to tell you that these are really not real big problems. As much as I tell everybody else and I tell myself also, like, I get that from my husband, and we do touch the topic of, and as much as you think that we don't, we touch the topic of gratitude ever so often when we're talking that it's okay, it's good, knock on wood, the children are fine, they're happy,
right,
these things
yeah.
come and go. Imagine your days without all the turmoil and the madness and the strife and the fact that you're getting stretched in so many different places. What would life be without all that? That means, work is still calling you,
Yes,
home needs
yes,
you,
yeah.
your children love you, your husband wants your time. These are good problems to have, and don't worry about it so much.
Yeah, absolutely. But also, like little problems, it's okay to also spend some time on the
Yes,
small things.
I'm going to share something personal
Please.
with you. So when my kids were growing up, one day I told them, I said, do you want me to leave my work and be a stay-at-home mom? They said, never. Because on Sunday, you're so sweet, you're so nice. Imagine if you were there all the time, then you would be after us.
And they have that, that
They
percentage.
learned that, yes. They learned that when they were very little. So
I just want to thank you both for being on this. Before we end, just one last takeaway from you, because I know that you have something very specific and helpful to say to everyone watching right now. So like a small, realistic change, perhaps, that you feel every woman can make in their lives or take a step to just reclaim some control over their headspace like you did recently.
I think for me, the control or reclaim, that much control when it comes to my headspace was just investing in myself. And it didn't come from a place where I didn't start very early. We had Meher. I went through very severe postpartum depression, and I was shy to even voice it. And then when you start talking about it, you start reclaiming your life, your health, and you know that and I saw it slipping out of my hand like sand because, there was weight gain, there was judgment, there was trolling. And when you're a public figure, it gets much, much harder. But I feel like the onus of changing it lies inside, like look within. You can change it. Make time. Don't be guilty. Delegate. Pass on those responsibilities to other people. Invest in yourself. Self-love, but not an exaggerated amount, because it can get very, very indulgent. So, know your boundaries even with self-love. And know your boundaries even when you're actually going out there and loving other people. It's okay. Like that whole thing, I want to be healthy for my kids. Yes, you do. Yes, you need to, so it's okay. And the only way you can do it is when you realize that, hey, you're the only one who needs to stand up on your feet and do it. So little things, make those changes. You can't do everything that you used to. And, you're going to be living in a fool's paradise where you think pehle jaise hota tha waise. But you also don't want to do those things. I don't want those late nights. I want to have a routine. There's joy in kind of reading a little bit. I've come back to reading, something I haven't done in like 10 years. So, little things, just stay focused on who you want to be. Don't pressurize yourself. Everything in moderation is great. Set boundaries, and sab theek ho jayega.
No, lovely. Thank you so much. I think that is the takeaway also, that it is fluid. It is a process. There'll be times it will be stretched in different directions. Certain priorities will take you away. You will not be able to excel at everything at all times, and that is okay. We are all turning
ask
up.
for help.
Ask for help. Kyunki koi super mom nahi hoti hai.
Yes.
No, we are not. Like, ye darza mat do hame, humse nahi
we don't
hota
want it
hai.
also.
We are not wearing these invisible capes. Ye sab jo Instagram pe jo cheezein bani hoti hai, wo kuch nahi hai. We all, and we know, we have like a group of friends, and 5 or 6 moms there. We're there for each other, and on a daily basis, one of us is having a breakdown or a chaotic day, or something hasn't worked out the way we want, and we're all there for each other. So reach out, your group of friends, the ones you can trust, your help at home, your parents, your husband. Sometimes reach out to your children and ask them that, listen, today mama can't do it. And it's okay. Like I'm saying, even if you break down in front of your kids, it's okay. Let them know that it's not easy, because we don't want to paint a picture that we can't live up to.
No, I think authenticity is key. Turning up. Just the fact that you showed up is all that you need to do sometimes.
Really.
So I want to thank you both for really just being very honest and for having what I think has been quite a layered conversation. For our viewers, I think it's clear that work-life balance is not a one-size-fit-all formula. It is a deeply personal journey, and it is shaped by so many things, our biology, our roles, and definitely our conditioning. So whether you at home are chasing goals, whether you're choosing rest, what matters, I think, is doing it mindfully and with compassion. And to everyone watching or listening, if you did find this episode helpful, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and to stay updated on future episodes. Until next time, stay informed and stay healthy.